It's the race for District 20 again. Once more, Representative Sheila Cherfilus-McCormick is campaigning for a seat in Congress, but now she's the incumbent. I had the chance to go one-on-one with the Congresswoman to talk about her track record so far, what she hopes to accomplish in Washington, and her lawsuit against her opponent. Congresswoman, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
You have the same opponent.
Yes.
And there has been a back and forth between you and him. Some allegations that he's thrown your way about some funds that have been diverted into your campaign, or that were diverted into your campaign in 2021. And as a result, now you have sued your opponent. Where does that stand now?
Well, actually what happened is he started making up stories and like total fabrications. And it seems like he's dedicated to having a smear campaign. So what really brought on the lawsuit is that he sent a text out saying I embezzled money. I've never been arrested. I've never done anything illegal. And you send out a text message to over 200,000 people saying I embezzled, which is a complete fabrication and lie. And so that's why we felt like, okay, every single week there's a new lie and we have to address it. Before that, he was saying I was a Republican. And I said, wow, last election, you said I was a crazy liberal, crazy progressive. And this election, I'm a Republican. And I think the last message he sent, he said that I was against women's rights. And I said, my record, we just passed and codified Roe versus Wade in the House. We were out there with all the women of the House advocating for more rights for women. And you're sending a text message saying I'm against women. So it's just been total fabrications. And I think the Sun Sentinel actually said it correctly. Yesterday, they said that it was just totally ridiculous how it's not grounded on any kind of truth. And it is reprehensible that he thinks a smear campaign based off of total lies is going to win him an election.
I want to talk about 2 points in that. One, that he said that you had used a loan of $6 million into your 2021 campaign. Let's clear that up.
There was never a loan. So what he's trying to say is that there's an inference. And you heard he spoke about this, that, oh, there could be an inference. There was never any money that was used in my campaign that had to do with any kind of funding. Those were the profits that I took out of my business at a time I felt appropriate, and I used my own money. And I would say, I've worked very hard for my own money. I know how it is to have a good education, and I value a good education and honest work. So there was never an inference of any kind of illegality. There was never an inference of anything that was wrong with what I chose to take out as profits. But he just wanted to bolster this lie so he can look like he's a better candidate. But the truth is that we can't continue playing politics and ignoring the real issues that people are going through, which right now we're looking at inflation all over the world, much less in our own backyard. We're looking at housing issues, which are huge issues. So even participating in this political game of making up all these lies is just totally ridiculous. We have to stick to actually what's at hand. How do we help people stay in their houses? How do we help people find housing? And how do we help people fight inflation?
I want to talk about your healthcare company, because that was another allegation that you had transferred money into your healthcare company. And your response to that?
Totally fabrications. Like he's been making, all of it is fabrications, and he takes a little bit of the truth and tries to expedite it, tries to just make it something else. But like I said, the whole tenure, like everything he has been saying has been based off of no evidence. And I'm happy that we've actually seen honest reporters reporting on it and writing about it. Now we have another lawsuit with Florida Politics, because Florida Politics wrote just a complete lie. And so now they're saying they're going to pull it down. But that's where that started, and that was planted with him. And it goes back to the original issue that we have here, is that why is it that he himself feels it's appropriate to continue to make up lies and attack women? We saw this with Ketanji Brown when she was running. We saw this with Kamala Harris. And here we are again, and you're making up total false accusations. And it really does anger me. And so when people ask me, did you expect this? I said, no, because these kind of fabrications, they usually come from the Trump side, not the Democratic side. We haven't seen anyone just make up lies, calling a person a Republican after less than 6 months ago, you said I was a crazy radical Democrat. So this to me is just ridiculous. And it really shows you a person's character or lack of character.
I want to talk about some of the issues like the abortion rights. Do you feel that that should be up to the states?
No. I think that's definitely, we did the right step in codifying it in the House. We actually passed a bill 2 weeks ago where we codified it, and we're hoping that it can get to the Senate and pass. But I don't think that it should be in the Senate, in the state's hands. And now I feel like it shouldn't even be in the Supreme Court's hand, because what we see right now, there are some justices who said that they wouldn't overturn Roe versus Wade, and they did. So now we can't really trust it and leave it in certain people's hands. We actually have to put it in the hands of people who are elected on a national level. The reason why it's too urgent right now, when we see what's going on with women, when we see what even the Supreme Court Justice articulating, that next he's welcoming a challenge for equal marriage and marriage rights and contraceptives, this is crazy. It seems like the political agenda has now seeped in to even our judicial system. And we can't allow that. We can't allow now in the Supreme Court, people are making decisions based off of political parties and a political agenda.
In your last campaign, you made a promise of giving checks to people that were in need. Where does that stand?
Well, we actually submitted the People's Prosperity Plan a month being in Congress. After that, right now, we see that the People's Prosperity Plan is actually in Ways and Means. And I always explain to people it's like the budgeting committee. And we've already started talking about, is it necessary? Now, there's some people who argue it's no longer necessary because right now we're looking at the lowest unemployment rates than we've seen in the last 50 years. However, when we compound that half of our district lives on a fixed income because they're 55 and older, and then inflation, then you still see the need, especially for caregivers and seniors. So we're still fighting that fight because we know we need relief. I also introduced...
And you think you can make that happen still?
I do. I still think we can make it happen. It might not be for the large audience that we were initially looking at, which was based directly after COVID-19, and it was also when we were looking at still an economic downturn. As long as we have numbers that still show that there are people who are working and there's need for more people to work, and as long as we see gas prices going down, which we've seen that for the last 3 weeks, that they've consistently been going down, I think it'll be harder to get it for everyone who's making less than $75,000. But we still have a group that's being hit very hard, who are fixed income and who are seniors, who now are trying to survive with higher prices of gas, higher prices of housing, higher prices of food. And we know nutrition is everything, especially as you get older.
What are you most proud of so far?
That's such a big question. I think the most thing I'm proud of is what we were able to do in housing. And the reason why I say that is because we were really able to work with, I've only been there for 6 months, and to be able to build relationships with the administration is something that hasn't been done before. And I think also what we've been able to do when it comes to healthcare and cancer treatment. About a month ago, we came down with Dr. Jill Biden. And when we were on Air Force 2, we were having a conversation. And I said, my God, like when I ran as a healthcare executive, I never thought that we would be coming into the district with the president's wife to talk about expanding access to cancer care, to health care. I just never thought we would be able to do it. And seeing what we've been able to do even in veteran affairs, as far as expanding health care for our veterans, that's been awesome. And I think the last one that it really blows my mind that we were able to do. A few weeks ago, I was appointed in transportation and infrastructure. And here I am tomorrow, I have a call with Peter Buttigieg about how we can bring more funding, especially in the Glades and into our district, for infrastructure. So to me, it's like a dream that you think, hey, I'm gonna help in bringing this funding into the district. And we're gonna make sure that we have all types of people working on these contracts. And to think that I'm sitting in a position now where it's a phone call away, or it's a meeting away, and you can see the change, to me, it's unbelievable. And I always tell people that this has been the most rewarding experience of my life.
You talked about being focused. So if you were to be elected again as Congresswoman, what would be your focus? What would be your priority?
Priority is still economics. It's still economics because we find that inflation is really fighting us. Every economic opportunity that comes forward, we were able to help businesses go forward. We were able to put money into different organizations. But it seems with every step forward we go, inflation pulls us back. So we're not really seeing economic mobility. And that concerns me because a lot of the issues we've suffered in our district has been due to economic mobility. Even access to healthcare. Until we can have healthcare for all, healthcare is still dependent on your economics. Education is still dependent on economics.
Well, Congresswoman, as always, thank you so much. Good luck to you.
Thank you so much for having me.